Coming in on this news story. This is with regards to the Al-Falah University campus, room number 13 in building number 17 of Al-Falah Medical College in Faridabad has now become central to the entire investigation into the Red Fort blast case and the recovery of nearly 2,900 kilograms of explosive material from Faridabad's Dhauj and Fatehpur Taga villages. The room occupied by Dr. Muzammil Ahmed Ganaiya from Pulwama, Jammu and Kashmir, is now suspected to have become the focal point where planning and coordination by the alleged terrorists was in fact being conducted. This entire terror module was being hatched in this particular room number 13 of building number 17 of the Al-Falah University. The police believe the suspects, including the faculty member Omar Nabi, remember he's the man who was behind the wheel when the blast took place, and Dr. Shaheen Shahid, the female doctor hailing from Lucknow, they all were in this room. They used room number 13 in building number 17 to hatch the entire terror conspiracy. This room was used to plot logistics, even plan the transport route for this ammonium nitrate that was intended for multiple blasts across not just Delhi NCR region. Let's quickly go across to Anshul, who's joining me live on the broadcast from Al-Falah University campus. It's rather surprising that this entire room number 13 of building number 17 has now come to the forefront. This when yesterday the statement coming in from Al-Falah University had completely disowned these allegations. Anshul.
Well, yes, the Al-Falah University at this point in time has disowned all these allegations and have said that they are cooperating with the investigation at this point in time. But if you look at the manner in which this planning was happening, this is not the job of one person, and this is not a job that was planned immediately or was planned in a haste. The entire planning of collecting ammonium nitrate along with other explosives and assault rifles, this was ongoing for the last year and a half. The experiments that were conducted of mixing ammonium nitrate with other oxidizers was done inside Al-Falah University. It was done in small quantities to figure out that if at all ammonium nitrate is mixed with some other oxidizers, then what kind of blast could happen. This was done in a controlled manner inside the lab of the university itself, is what the investigators suspect at this point in time. And that is the reason why samples such as beakers and others have already been taken into custody by the agencies, and they have been sent for forensic testing.
So, Anshul, is Al-Falah University now becoming that common point of connect for all of these who are part of the terror module, and that the ones who have been zeroed in by the probe agencies, all the way from Pulwama, Srinagar, all the way down to Lucknow and, of course, in Faridabad?
Where a direct link has absolutely been established at this point between Al-Falah University and the explosive materials that were recovered from here, with that of the blast that happened at Red Fort. Post that the investigation that has happened till now, things have become evidently clear that Al-Falah University was one of the epicenters where the entire planning was happening. Building number 17 of the Al-Falah University, room number 13, where Muzammil was staying, it is being seen as a small command and control center that was set up. According to people who have worked with Muzammil, they spoke to us off record as well, and they say that Muzammil was not a social person. He did not used to interact very frequently with other colleagues. There was this small gang that was operating, that is between Nazir, Muzammil, Umar and Dr. Shahina. All of them were part of this small group, and they used to have meetings inside room number 13 of building number 17 of the Al-Falah University. And it is at that point that this entire plan was charted out. Investigators believe that there could be digital evidences that could be recovered from the room of Muzammil, and the whatever evidences, fingerprints that could have been recovered, that have been recovered at this point in time and have been sent for forensic testing. So definitely the clear links have been established. Muzammil, who was employed over here for the last 2.5 years, was brought over here by an HR named Jameel, who is yet again a Kashmiri and was working over here since the starting of this university itself, since 2014-2015 itself. Omar was allegedly working over here for the last 7 years, and Shahina was working over here for the last two and a half years as well. This small group was actually made.
Interrogated as well. What have the probe agencies been able to discover so far? Yesterday, you were also at the university campus and you did highlight how there was a truck full of evidence that was being carried out by the NIA. So take us through what you are learning.
Well, absolutely. The investigators are constantly, hunting down those who were actually involved in the sinister plot. Many arrests being made, but very clearly the university also says that it's cooperating in the investigation. Their financial, all their details are being scrutinized by, in fact, the investigators. In fact, they've also sought their UGC and NAC documents in order to know as to whether or not this university was actually given out all the kind of permissions and accreditations or not. Not only that, their fire certificates, their NOCs, everything is being scrutinized by the investigation agencies.
No, so it's very interesting that you highlight that, Ananya. Is there also a role of any kind of foreign funding? Because till yesterday, remittances from Doha and even Turkey were being discussed. So what are you learning in terms of any foreign funding involved with this university?
Well, as far as foreign funding is concerned, we spoke to somebody at the Al-Falah Trust yesterday, and they say that, they don't receive any kind of a foreign funding, not even a foreign fundraisers from even the Arab countries have ever come to the university, and it's only run on the university's fees is what, in fact, they have gone on to say. But very clearly, all of this is a statement that has come in from the Al-Falah Trust. Whether or not that is the truth is something that only the investigators would be able to churn out after this investigation actually concludes. But very clearly 13 people have died in this particular blast, 30 plus have been injured, and the investigation agencies are leaving no stone unturned in order to create a watertight case. Section 16 and 18 of, in fact, the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of the UAPA has kicked in. 30 days of police custody remand that can be sought by, in fact, the investigators in one go. That's the speciality of this law, and it's a very stringent law. Getting a bail under UAPA is something that's a very humongous task, because there is a bar of 43D under the UAPA, which makes securing a bail very difficult. So all of these charges being pushed in, how would the case be created? What would the investigation lead to? Who were these people, and why were they planning this sinister plot, is something that would be uncovered only
when we're talking about interrogation, let me quickly go back to Anshul. Anshul, we've still missed out on the interrogation of Dr. Nasir, a man who's been dismissed already by the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. What was he doing in such a university? That's the moot question that still remains unanswered.
The manner in which the layers are being investigated and the investigation is coming to the fore, it is definitely seeming like that Al-Falah University was being used as a command and control center. People who were brainwashed, they were being brought over here and were employed over here so that further indoctrination could also happen, and then eventually the plans that were initially could have been made by their handlers, that could actually be imposed on the ground as well. And that is the exact connection that has come out with Al-Falah University. One of the HRs of the Al-Falah University, known as Jameel, he is being said as one of the person who has been bringing all these people from Kashmir, from different parts of Kashmir, and have been employing them over here. Over the last few years, there has been a rise in the number of Kashmiri educators in this university as well. So yes, there are other people who could be involved in this entire nexus, and that is what is still being looked into by the agencies and the Faridabad police as well.
And then let's quickly also touch upon Dr. Omar's role in this entire blast case. What have we been able to discover as far as the DNA report that was supposed to arrive? What are you learning?
Well, as Anshul had broken it in the morning, it is in fact clear that a very the samples that have been recovered from, in fact, various parts, and the body that was in pieces was in fact of Umar. In fact, these DNA samplings have matched as what in fact Anshul had reported right in the morning. There have been fresh CCTV footages, our colleagues that have been bringing us very clearly. One of these shows that this car was roaming freely, in fact, in the national capital, in the Connaught Place area as well. So very clearly, Akansha, because we did a ground report also yesterday, we tracked that particular route that I-20, that sinister car HR26EE 7674 would have taken when it had started from the Al-Falah University till the Red Fort until that blast took place. And we saw just one checkpost, even after having a police station in between, even after having various metro stations, there was only one proper checkpost. That too, we don't know if it had been put up after that particular blast had taken place. So very clearly, the car was roaming freely, and these CCTV footages also confirm that there was no kind of a check on these vehicles, and hence this tragedy has now gone on to occur.
That's a very interesting point that I want to also take forward with Anshul. Anshul, if I could bring you in on the number of cars that have been involved in this entire terror plot. 3 we have been able to zero in. What are you learning from the probe agencies, especially when it comes to the plotting, the logistics of this entire terror module, given that the probe agencies have been able to now zero in on this particular room number 13 of building number 17 in the Al-Falah University. Also, the other big question now that arises is, where was the production of this amount of ammonium nitrate even taking place? Was the university campus being used as well?
That is suspected not particularly for the production of ammonium nitrate, but to actually carry out explosions. Because remember, ammonium nitrate in itself is not an explosive. If you just put fire to ammonium nitrate, it will not explode. There needs to be some other oxidizers and chemicals that needs to be mixed with it, and those experiments were carried out inside the lab. Is what the investigators believe at this point in time. And hence the lab has been sealed, the samples have been recovered, have been taken and have been sent for forensic testing at this point in time. In the investigation that has happened with Muzammil and other accused in this entire matter as well, somewhere or the other it has come out that this lab that was inside the university, this was one of the places where the initial experiments were carried out as to how ammonium nitrate can actually be converted into an explosive. But if we speak about the vehicles that are in the dock at this point in time, the first one is obviously the I-20 vehicle that exploded. The second one is a Maruti Swift vehicle that was on the name of Shahina, and from that vehicle itself, the assault rifle and magazines were recovered. The third vehicle is the EcoSport, though there is no direct connection of that EcoSport with the blast that happened, because that vehicle was parked over here in Faridabad for the last 7 to 8 days itself, and there has been no recoveries that have been made from that vehicle particularly. The fourth vehicle is a red Brezza that is being said to have been registered with Dr. Shahina yet again, and it is suspected that there could be explosive that could be recovered from that, and now the search for that red Brezza is underway.